Hope all is well out there. In today's video, I'll be covering 10 vehicles that you should avoid in GTA Online. Now, I didn't want to do vehicles that everyone else does for these type of videos, so I really try to think outside of the box. And at the start, it will be vehicles that either just have a major flaw about them or have been replaced in some way, so they're really not that bad to buy. They're just not the best option out there. But when we get towards the end of the list, it'll be vehicles that if you bought them, you spent a whole lot of money to get nothing in return. With that being said, let's move on to the first vehicle I recommend you don't buy in this game. And the first vehicle is actually the Vamos. Now, this isn't really that bad of a vehicle. It does have a price tag, from what I remember, about $600,000. It was removed off of the websites for last-gen consoles, so if you're on last-gen like me, you're not going to be able to buy it. And if you're on new-gen, you have to have like the membership or whatever in order to access this. Now, the reason why I say don't buy this is because it has a lot of oversteer and feels like a boat on the road. So when you're driving it and you turn, it feels like it turns a lot more than it should. It just does not handle great. Now, I'm not sure if this vehicle was nerfed or not, because I do remember really liking it in the past, because it was really fast. We did a wheelie, it gained a huge amount of speed over other vehicles, but now it just doesn't feel great to drive. It feels bad, but it does look very nice. So if you just want to have it as an aesthetic vehicle, honestly not really that bad of a choice. Next up, we have the JB700. Now, this car does look very nice, so I'm not saying that it looks bad. It's just the purpose of it doesn't really exist. Now, this is a James Bond vehicle, I believe. I think that's what JB stands for, or it's inspired, something like that. So it does have weaponized customizations. And the first thing that you would notice is it has machine guns on the front of it, right next to the hood. It has 2 separate machine guns. Now, these are extremely weak. Not even worth trying to use these against vehicles or anything like that. They're just useless. And it does also have slick mines. So if you put those down, the vehicles that will drive over them will lose control for about 5 seconds, which is useless because it's only 5 seconds. So if you're just having someone chase you, they're going to be still behind you if you're going in a straight line. If you turn, well, that's another story. Now, this does have a price tag of 1.5 million, so it's not the worst thing ever. It does kind of, offer you things that other vehicles wouldn't, that are way overpriced and way more expensive than this. But I really don't understand why they couldn't have just added the features this has in story mode. If you never played story mode, well, this car in one of the missions had spikes that you could put down on the road, where it'll pop all the tires of the vehicles that drive over them. You could also launch someone out of the car. So if they're sitting in the passenger seat, they'll just go flying out of the roof of the thing. And it also had machine guns that were, I think, a lot better in the story mode. But of course, Rockstar doesn't want to have us have nice things in the world. So of course, they just made this thing really shit for weaponized customization. But that's it for this car. If you just want to buy it for the aesthetics, honestly, I would say that it's worth it because its price tag is not that bad. So now we have the taxi, which is completely useless to buy because the reason you would get it is to run the taxi business, and the business already gives you a taxi for free when you start a mission. So there's almost no point. Now, this will run you anywhere from 480,000 to 650,000. So it's not, the most expensive thing ever, but why would you buy it if you get one for free? Now, if you don't know this, you actually can get a free taxi out of the arena war. Obviously, you'd have to buy an arena in order to get the taxi, but reaching level 25, you will be able to get a free upgraded taxi, which is cool. Yeah, I think it was red with like lowrider wheels from my memory. I don't have it on PC, but I did on Xbox. And it was very interesting to drive because it was unique. It was an upgraded taxi that looked really stupid. But that's it. Don't ever buy that taxi. It's not worth it. Now we have a very old car on this list that came out around 2016, and this is the Ruiner 2000. Now, if you're familiar with this vehicle, you might remember that it used to be the most expensive land vehicle in the game, coming out at $5.7 million without the trade price, which was absurd for a vehicle that got so outdated so quickly. Now, the price was cut in half, so you can actually get this thing for only 2.8 million, and I think it's kind of worth it as a collection vehicle, not really as a vehicle that's useful. Now, this does have a lot of features about it for it being so damn expensive. First 2 things is it can jump and it has a parachute, which is kind of unique to itself. Now, other vehicles can jump, but no other vehicle in the game has a parachute like this, which is very, very unique. Now, this also has machine guns that are extremely weak. Don't even bother trying to use those. And it also has the best tracking homing missiles in the entire game. So these missiles will never miss their target at all. But the downside of that is this can only use 8 missiles and then it's out. So they really screwed you over with a vehicle that's so expensive and you barely can even use it. Like, I get that the missiles are really overpowered, but why have a vehicle that also doesn't have any armor, so it'll blow up in one RPG, to have no missiles? It doesn't make any sense. Now, this also does have one more hidden feature that I did not mention that I nearly forgot about, and that is if you have this car locked to any other players, So if you just set it to no one and someone tries to get in, they will actually get shocked by the car and fall on the ground. It's kind of like a taser effect. It's also pretty damn quick, but that's it. It's just a collection vehicle in my eyes, so I would not buy it unless you're well established in the game. Now we have, I think, the first vehicle on this list that had a purpose and doesn't even work at all. This is the Slamtruck. You could imagine that when you look at this thing, you're like, oh, I could put a vehicle on the back of it and haul that vehicle around. You'd be mistaken. This cannot even do that at all. And I did not know this, but it does have like air suspension kind of in a way. It's kind of like lowriders where you could put the suspension up and down, but it isn't hydraulics. I think it's literally just like an air suspension. And that's really it for the Slamtruck. Like you could see in the gameplay, I am putting a vehicle on the Slamtruck and it is actually falling off of it because you can't tie it down. Don't ever buy this. It does have a price tag of 1.3 million. So that's going to be money that unfortunately is going to go down the drain. But if you do want to do screenshots with this thing with a vehicle on the back, it does look pretty cool. But don't buy this if you want to try and buy it for the purpose of it. It does not work. So now I'm including a collection of vehicles, which is any of the Cayo Perico Island vehicles. This is not including every Cayo Perico vehicle that was coming out in this update. It's just the ones that you see on the island driving around. I believe there is 6 different ones. There's like the 4-wheeler, the bike, there's a Jeep, there is a boat, and 2 other larger vehicles. I don't remember what they're called, but none of these are worth it to buy. They can range anywhere from 150,000 to 2 million. So I think the bike is the cheapest, and then the most expensive is the boat. But the reason I say none of these are useful is 1, they're slow, and 2, you can buy vehicles that are very similar to these that are much cheaper and just way more convenient all around. So if you're going to look at these vehicles, be like, oh, they're military aesthetic vehicles, I wonder if they're actually going to be good. No. They are not good in the slightest. There's no situation where these are going to be good. Maybe if you're going to do role-playing, they're good, but I would stay away from these at all costs. So I'm sure most of the new players don't even know you can buy this thing, but it is a huge dump truck, and this comes in at $1 million if you were to buy it. Now you can see that I actually found this at the, I think it's the quarry in this game. I think that's what this is called. There's nothing to the dump truck other than it being a very large vehicle. It's really slow. It can take no rockets or anything. It blows up with no 1 rocket. Its tires aren't even bulletproof, so if you have the cops chasing you, good luck with your tires staying on. And that's kind of it. There's really nothing to this thing. So if you see it on the website and be like, oh, it's a huge dump truck, I wonder if it works. It does not, because this vehicle came out with the release of the game, so it actually has nothing to show for it. So now we have a helicopter up on this list, which is the Weaponized Conada. Now you should avoid this at all costs because it was a replacement for a helicopter already existing in the game, and it doesn't offer anything extra. It's just a reskin of the helicopter with a higher price tag of $3.4 million, which is actually double what the original helicopter was. Now what the Weaponized Conada offers is a dual machine gun. I think they're 50 mg rounds or something like that, but you never want to use those in a helicopter because it's almost impossible to hit anything in GTA Online with a dual machine gun on a helicopter. It does have homing missiles like almost everything does, but they're very bad at tracking, so don't expect them to hit their target like almost all the time. And this thing is fast. I think it's one of the fastest helicopters, but it also has really terrible handling, so it feels really slow to turn around with, and it's just not great overall. And in case you were curious, this was supposed to be a replacement for the Buzzard helicopter, which is only 1.7 million. So if you want to get the Buzzard, you can. You can also spawn the Buzzard right next to you using the CEO abilities. Don't buy the Weaponized Conada. Big waste of money. Now I really wanted to include an arena war vehicle, so that's what I did. And the worst one you can buy is this Cerberus. This will set you back about $8 million if you want to fully upgrade it. The base price is about 3.8 million without the trade price. Good luck getting the trade price, by the way. Probably not going to happen. And all the upgrades will add up to nearly 4 million. So what the vehicle costs, you're going to be spending that again just to upgrade it. Now, arena war vehicles do have a lot to offer. You saw that I actually jumped with this thing. It has a flamethrower on it, which is extremely weak. Very terrible. Don't use a flamethrower. It also has proximity mines on it. There's a bunch of different mines you can get, but the best ones are kinetic mines because they can send vehicles flying. They're really not that fun once you use them enough times. And then the last thing this has to offer is shunt boost. Now this sends you from side to side, but if you use it in combination with the jump, so you put a pedestrian's vehicle, or it could be one of your friends, on top of this thing, kind of in the front where the scoop is, you jump in the air and shunt boost them to one side, and it'll send them flying away. Now the reason I say that this thing is completely useless to buy, even when it comes to arena war vehicles, is because there is two vehicles, being the Rat Truck and the Glendale, that do the exact same thing as this, even better, and they're half of the price. So don't buy this. I only bought it because I wanted to have fun with it, and I found it just funny to use whenever my friends join me and they don't actually know what this thing is. But if you're looking to buy an arena war vehicle, this is the last thing you should buy on that list. Now we finally made it to the #1 spot, which is the Fire Truck. This is the vehicle I recommend you stay away from at all costs. Now I would also stay away from the police riot van as well. That is also way more expensive than this thing. So stay away from these two vehicles. And in case you're curious, the Fire Truck is 2.4 to 3.3 million, and it's useless. You could simply just call the fire department on your phone in this game, and when the fire truck gets to you, just steal it. And whenever you have the cops, call Lester and call the cops off, and it's that easy. You just saved yourself anywhere from $2 to $3 million buying a fire truck that all it has to offer is water, and that's it. Now, if you enjoyed this video or have any suggestions for what I should do next, you can leave a like or comment, whatever you want to do. And I do really appreciate the support I got on my top 10 vehicles you should buy. I did not expect it to do as well as it did, but I really do appreciate it. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys. So I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, everyone.